This is the Silver Wolf Howl. I am Angela and welcome to 2023. We had a little break over the last month or so, and it was a good break, needed, very, very needed. It was a busy year, which is a good sign. And now we're back. So welcome back to our first episode for the new year. And I'm going to be going back over the last year and the guests that we've had and what's happening in the year ahead. I looked at some of the notes and listened to some of the podcasts again that we did over this last few months since the Silver Wolf Howl began. And it's been such an adventure, so interesting. We've met so many interesting people. I've learned so much from those people, and I've learned about their careers. I've learned about the work that they do, and also the people themselves. I've been very, very, very lucky, and lucky is kind of an understatement, but for now, we'll just use that word. I've been very lucky to have found some very talented, very good at what they do people, but also just nice, genuine, decent people that, we could talk to and were so willing and open and ready to share their knowledge and their experience with me and with Ryan, who was with me all the time, and with all of you. So it's really been an awesome ride. And as I say, I feel very lucky that I was blessed with all of those people that I could connect with. So I'm looking forward to all the ones that I will connect with in the new year, wherever you may be. I'm attracting you towards me. So when I started this podcast, I wanted to just show the world, the world. Yes. These are my goals. What we do, what private investigators do, particularly in South Africa, because a lot of times people just didn't have a clue about what we do. And then when they did have a clue, it wasn't really a clue because they took it from TV shows, which are normally American based or UK based or even Australian, and very little about South African based private investigators, what we face, what we do, what kind of things we can do, and also how we fit into the legal system, because it's different in different countries, what is required, and how they assist the police and that kind of thing. So I did an episode last year, it was about episode 4, where I explained how we fit into the legal system. And that opened a lot of eyes and made people stop and think, because no one ever thought about it in that way, that we actually do fit into the system, and we're not just a luxury to have by the way, We have really been valuable assets to a lot of our clients and their cases. And just today, we were informed that someone that we were looking for, and we've been on the track of this person for months. They were evading arrest from the police, and we were just on the trail and it kept going. And today we got the news that the person has been apprehended. So that client now can move forward with their case as well. So our involvement and our assistance on these cases have really been valuable to our clients, and that's why they come to us, and that's why we've got so many repeat clients, and why we've got big attorneys firms also trusting us with their work, which we are so grateful for. And we love working with all of them, not just the people that we've connected to on the podcast that I've interviewed, but the clients that we have had and who are continuously coming through are also really decent people as well. So overall, we've been very lucky and very blessed to have experienced all of that. So, referring back to my episode on where we fit in the legal system, it's really assisted a lot of people to find that little gap. A lot of times they've thought that, okay, my case can't go any further because I don't know what to do. And that little bit of information helped them a lot to say, okay, there's still hope, I can actually do something. So that was great to have this podcast, this little idea that I had, helping people to actually progress with something that's been bothering them for a while, or that they've just been frustrated with because they haven't had any progress with it or any outcome. Either way, even if they find out that this is just a dead end thing, it's not going to go anywhere, the person has no money to pay you back, for example, then at least they know and they can get closure and they can move on. So the information that we've been supplying in our episodes have actually been practically used, which is so exciting, and I'm really, really happy about it. And it motivates me, to keep going and to find more interesting people to give you more information that would maybe help you with whatever situation you are dealing with at the moment. Other little things that we discussed in our previous episodes, well, on the trail of me giving information, my first episode was about us as private investigators and what we do, what we don't do, and just giving an idea. And that also gave a lot of help to people practically who came back to us and who actually gave us feedback or who actually used us then as a result of it. And that information is still the same. We still do those kinds of things, but coming up in 2023 we're going to be adding a lot more services because of all these wonderful connections that we've made last year, and meeting all of these interesting people. I've had some ideas and we've developed some connections, and we will be adding some new services to our repertoire for this year coming. So watch out for that. It will be listed on our website as soon as possible. I will put out some notices on Facebook and also on our podcast information, so that you can also then follow us and see what's new and what other services are available to you. Please also keep reaching out to us, giving us feedback, and letting us know what else there is that you would like more information on. If it's related to our industry and it will be useful to you, I will definitely make a point of finding somebody wonderful that will be able to answer all of those questions. Other episodes that we did was we spoke to my two investigators, Ryan and Noel. And again, I'm just such a lucky girl because I've got these two wonderful guys who are not only just great at their work, but also just really decent guys, that I get to work with them every day. So I'm really, really lucky. So Ryan is newer to this whole industry, and he gave a perspective on what it was like for him to come from a more corporate background into this world of private investigation. Even although he had a little bit of experience in tracking people, and that what we do is so different. So that was a nice bit of information to find out how different it is. And also for somebody who's now a private investigator, what his ideas were about private investigation before he joined us and now. I found that really, really interesting. And I will be talking to Noel and Ryan again coming up soon, and just catching up with them and seeing how the year's been for them and how the dynamic has been for the two of them working together, etc., etc. I don't want to give away too much. So stay tuned for that episode coming up really soon. Then Noel, who has been doing this for a long time, his perspective, as well, and just talking about things that he found interesting, not just with being now with Silver Wolf, but also a little bit from his past and the experiences that he had. And one thing that stands out to me about the two different interviews is that how over time the amount of investigations or cases that you work on kind of leave an impact with you. We sometimes forget that people in service industries, if I can generalize that broad enough, talking about like doctors, police, nurses, all of these kinds of people, even teachers, that they have a job, yes, and they do it, and most of them do it very well. But at the end of the day, they're still people. And I think a lot of what they experience gets tacked on without their conscious knowledge of it. Maybe I can put it that way. And so it does affect them. And it's actually good to know that that does happen for a number of reasons. I mean, we're human, but also that if you know that that is a possibility, you can then do something to help you. To maybe just say, okay, once a month I want to kind of go and talk to somebody, or just have like a little pamper session or something and release all of these things or whatever, just so that all of these essential people in our lives can stay healthy, and be able to be available for us when we need them. So so that was one point that I thought was very interesting as well. Then some other people that we met that have become, I've been in contact with them quite a lot, and they have also added now to us, and we've been doing some business together, and it's really been great. And they also lovely people. And those are the Anal, the Brain, and CS from DML Forensics. So if you remember, they are from the forensic investigation firm, which is attached to Dingley Marshall Lewin, the attorney's firm. And they are just also awesome. They are really diligent. I've done some work with her now, and she's so attentive to detail, which I love. Things just get done, when I'm dealing with her, which is so awesome. So, yes, check out their website as well, dmlforensics.co.za, and then the law firm is dmllaw.co.za. If you are ever in need of forensic services and all of the stuff that they do, definitely go to them. I would suggest that you do that. Then also connected to them, or should I say because of my ideas, my adventurous ideas, and my interviews with the podcast and stuff. I don't know if you remember Zono, the whistleblower app. They've also been doing some awesome stuff. They are a software development company. Check out that episode as well if you haven't listened to it yet. We spoke to Sonika, and she gave us some insight into this whole project, which is such a cool project, especially for businesses, where I know a little bit about this, but I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to trust here in the company, and also in situations where there are little cliques, and maybe one of the people in the clique in the company has some power, and you cannot go to them. You find these kinds of difficult situations everywhere, and so this app is an outsider, a complete outsider. And you could then use it to report whatever illegal activity you're seeing in the firm. That would not only help the company, because if something happens to the company, you are without a job, but it will also help you to be able to operate more effectively, not having that stress all day long that you can also just do your work and not be surrounded by all of this negative energy and this funny business going on around you. So one of the new services that we are linking with Zono as well is that app, and we will be rolling it out to companies, and then we will be able to monitor and chat to these people who have this vital information on any criminal activity that's going on in the business. And because we are private investigators and we have knowledge about what to look for, what are actual, what is suspicious, what is a possible activity that's not so savory happening, we'll be able to anonymously then chat to these people in these companies and assess, and we can then let them know, okay, yes, what you've seen is something that is worth looking at, and we will do something about it. We will contact the necessary people and we will get some action going there. Or we could then let them know, no, that is not anything. This person, maybe that's just a personality trait and they're not actually really doing anything funny or whatever. Also, closure, again, comes back to that same question of closure. So check out our website and our social media once I've added all of these new services, because the companies will really, really benefit from the service. And then linked to that, we've got the service with DML, where they will actually come out and chat to all companies, employees, etc., about what is fraud, what is bribery, what is, these kinds of illegal activities that can kind of go under the radar because people are not sure. What's the difference between buying a coffee for a colleague because I'm feeling generous or because I want to spread some kindness and positivity, versus somebody getting, rugby season tickets or something like that? There's definitely a difference to those two things. And those things they are excellent with, and they actually go out and train employees on that. And so that's so valuable. So we've all three connected and helping to give this complete system to businesses now, where we can monitor and help and find solutions to those problems. Also then, in the whole forensic world and digging into stuff, we went down to DNA kind of stuff when we spoke to Neil van der Schalks from Gene Diagnostics. Check out that episode if you haven't listened to it yet. He talks to us about what they do and how they find all of this information. He tells us about a story where they got DNA from somebody who was dead for such a long time and managed to give the family some closure, and also the outcomes that they have with police investigations and things like that, and general things that normal you and I kind of people would be able to get that, so that was a really interesting episode as well, and I learned so much from them. And he gave us a little tour of their lab and their facilities and introduced us to some of the people who work there. And it was really, really interesting. I felt very like sciencey walking around there. Not that I knew anything about what was going on, but I just felt sciencey being there, So yeah, definitely check them out as well if you need any of those kinds of services, and you can contact them. They are Gene Diagnostics. They are also based here in Cape Town as well. Then there were a few interesting ladies that we met as well. Starting with Nicole Engelbrecht from True Crime South Africa, the True Crime podcast lady. Oh my goodness, what a lovely lady she was. We did 2 episodes with her because we had so much to talk about. And she's also got a new podcast called I Lived Through This. And that's about people's survival stories, etc. So do check that out as well. I've listened to a few of her episodes on True Crime SA, and they're so interesting. I often just when I want to take a break, lay on the couch, feet up, put on one of her episodes and just listen. And what I like about her podcasts is she just gets to it. A lot of the time you get tired of people who like just to full time on their podcast, but they're not actually giving you information. And especially for me, because my mind is I think in pictures, so I need to see this movie happening in my head, in order to stay interested. And she does that so well. So there's no gaps. I don't feel like I'm asking questions at the end of it or anything like that. It's almost like she's in my head and answering the questions that are coming up as they come up in my head. I know she's published a book as well that she spoke about in the episode, and that's out as well. So you can check that book on one of the stories from her podcast as well that she co-wrote. The other lady who is also super interesting was Felicity Ann Guest, who is from the Institute for Social Development and Justice. She spoke to us a lot about gender-based violence and the whole difficulty that I don't want to just say women, because we spoke about the fact that men have these maintenance issues as well with their ex-partners, but mostly, as she mentioned, it is women that she helps. And just about her experience and how she got into it, and about the organization and what they do. So if you have any of those kinds of issues, or somebody who's struggling and they just can't figure this thing out, give Felicity a call, and maybe she can help, if not help you do everything that needs to be done. Maybe she can just give you some pointers in a consultation or something like that, and at least also just help you get something off your to-do list, or just off the back of your mind. There's sometimes those things that are in the back of your mind are a little more annoying than the little things that are on your to-do list. And as well as, something that's as important as maintenance and having to feed your kids and stuff like that, it's quite a burden, I can imagine. So, yes, contact her as well. Her episode is also on our list, so you can find it there, and I've had links, etc., to her details, and on Facebook as well. I've linked our podcast episode to her, so you can find her there as well. Then I spoke to Sandy Shooter, who is from Strandfontein Community Police Forum. What an interesting thing that was. Oh my goodness, because I never thought about any of that. And the funny thing is, and I don't know if you feel the same way as well, but when something gets explained to you, it's so simple and logical, but you never knew about it, or you didn't even think about it. You kind of go like, duh, And that's how I felt chatting to her, because their role is so vital in the community, and you can actually see how it helps and how it links things together, and how people are so reliant on them now, that you kind of wonder like, wow, okay, what would they do without them? So yeah, Community Police Forum, who I had never experienced it before, and so it was really interesting to hear, and also the stories and the types of things that they have to deal with. My only thing that I kind of felt a bit, what's the word I'm trying to use now? A little bit sad about it was the fact that they have to do this as volunteers, and it's such a vital role, in the community, and it assists the South African Police Service so much, that it's kind of sad that they have to work on that limited budget. I mean, goodness gracious me, it was some ridiculous figure. I don't even want to mention it because it's not even worth mentioning, just for the expenses and stuff, but they don't actually get paid for this valuable work that they do. So I hope that in the future something can happen, and something can change there, so that they actually get compensated personally for this good work that they are doing. But Yeah, Sandy seems to be having everything under control there in Strandfontein, and also a little bit in other areas as well. So if you are living in that area, do get in contact with Sandy Shooter. And they've got an app as well that they've introduced to help with all of their services and to help in the community. And she was showing me the app and telling me a little bit about it. And it's so cool. It is really cool. I think it's something that would be so valuable in every area. So hopefully she can expand it to other areas, or people can contact her, and this thing can actually go into every area, every community, and be part of every police forum, community police forum that there is. It's really, really so cool. I was so impressed with that. So those are the three interesting ladies that I also met, besides the others that I've already mentioned. And then I spoke to Brevin Petersen, who is from Tight Security. We also did 2 episodes with him because we also had just so much to talk to him about and ask him and pick his brains, poor thing. And we got so much information out of that as well. My basis for talking to somebody like Brevin out of the security industry was that we wanted to clear up what is security, private security, bodyguarding, etc., versus what is private investigators and what do they do. Because oftentimes people think that we are bodyguards, and we are the security services, especially if they come to us with an issue, a legal matter where they are in some kind of trouble or in danger or things like that, and we have to investigate into the case and help them progress with their case as well. They kind of think that we can offer security too because of the misconception that we are security. And so in that episode, we discussed what is security and what do they actually do and what do we actually do. And it was made really clear what the difference is. So check out that episode as well. And then you can also, just for your own knowledge, know who to contact, if you need that kind of service, or you're confused as to which to contact. Do you contact Silver Wolf or do you contact Tight Security? But if you are confused at any point about who to contact about anything, you are more than welcome to contact us, and we will hook you up with one of our brilliant partners that we've made through our journey with this podcast. And we've also partnered up with them, so their services will also then be listed on our website now. We will also add that our lovely partnership that we've made with them, which I'm also so excited about. We've already done some business and it has been great. Working with people who are as passionate and enthusiastic about what they do as we are, it was like a hand in glove working with them. And I'm so grateful for that partnership as well. So yeah, that was Tight Security, and you can also find them online. It's TYTE Security. They are also on Facebook, etc. And their links are also on Facebook and in the podcast episode as well. The 2 episodes that I did with him. Another episode that I did was with Frank from True Krav. So interesting. So that was more about looking after yourself, like physically looking after yourself in a situation. If you are faced with something unpleasant, sadly, that is something that we have to deal with a lot here in South Africa. And the services that they offer in teaching people Krav, True Krav, he cleared up some questions as well, because if you Google or go onto TikTok or any of these platforms and you type in Krav Maga, which is what this is based on, you will get all of these videos. And I found it so interesting. So I've known Frank for a while. We connected a few years ago and then reconnected again last year. And I kind of had an idea of what he trains with True Krav. And so I know what he does. And he explains what he does and why he does it that way. Or why the system that they use, they do it that way. And it makes so much sense. So now I go on to TikTok or one of these platforms and I type in Krav Maga and these videos pop up. And some of the things that they're teaching you and some of the moves that they're trying to teach you and is not anywhere close to what Frank taught me or showed me, So we kind of think, okay, that's kind of confusing. And for me, who has seen Frank doing the stuff, and then the exact same thing in this video is different. So that cleared up a lot as well, about what the difference is and why those videos are so different to what he teaches, etc. The main thing that I got out of that, other than obviously, looking after yourself, go and see Frank, go and talk to people in the True Krav group, depending on what area you are, because Frank is in Noordhoek, and I know that they've got another studio in Durbanville, I think, and then one in Cape Town. So it depends on what area you're looking for or you're living in, then you can contact them. But if you're unsure, contact Frank. The details are on the podcast episode as well. And then you can go and find out more and maybe go and just sit in on one or two of his lessons and see, if it's something that will fit with you. So that's the one thing that I learned. And then the other thing is also that, don't be silly when you go out there and you try and defend yourself. You need to really be wise when you're in that kind of situation. And it's easier said than done when you're not actually when it's not actually happening at that point. But I think if you're more conscious about it and think about it, then you can hopefully make it through such a situation not unscathed, fairly unscathed, or minimally so unscathed. So they're also great. You can check them out also on our podcast episode. Listen to that episode with Frank. He explains everything very nicely, and they can be found at truecravtraining.com. Details are also on Facebook with my links, etc., and with the podcast episode. Then those were the interesting people that I met last year when I started this podcast. I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but I don't think so. I don't think so. They were all really, really interesting, and as I think back on them, I'm going back into the moment that I was chatting to them and how I felt learning about all of these interesting things. And I just wanted to sit there and ask more and more and more questions, but I had to control myself and say, Angela, okay, that's enough now, poor people. So that's the only reason why the episode stopped at that point. Otherwise, it would still be going on now. Moving forward into 2023, we are so excited about all the new things that's happening in Silver Wolf itself. The ideas that I have and that we're implementing as well, and we are just growing, and it's really awesome. And I have an awesome team, so it helps to make things easier to implement all of these changes and stuff. As I said, we will be chatting again to Noel and Ryan soon, or I will be chatting to them this time, because Ryan's gonna be the interviewee this time and not the interviewer or co-interviewer as he usually is. And we will catch up with them and hear about their adventures in the last year as well, and what their thoughts are for the new year. Overall, I think there's a positive vibe. I don't know if you feel that too, for the year coming. Especially after everything that we've been through over the last few years. We won't go into that because I'm so tired of talking about it. But I feel like there's a lot more positivity for this coming year. So let's hope that it is. And let's hope that it is the best year for all of us. Lots of growth, lots of positivity, lots of good vibes, and meeting good people and connecting with good people. And whatever it is that you are doing, that it grows and brings you the fulfillment and the joy that you are so desirous for yourself. I wish all of that for you, and we will be out again soon. Catch our next episode coming out in a couple of weeks' time, and just keep following and supporting us. And thank you so much for all of your support, and for listening to me chatting all the time and asking people lots of questions. So till next time, toodles.